She never imagined a simple box could hold her entire past, but when she opened it, everything changed. Her heart stopped for a moment, and the memories came rushing back. It was a cold October evening in Chicago. The city was wrapped in a faint orange glow, the kind that falls gently through glass windows when the sun sets behind tall buildings. Inside a small apartment on the 17th floor, Emma was cooking dinner, her husband Daniel's favorite, creamy mushroom pasta with garlic bread and a glass of red wine. The table was perfectly set, 2 plates, 2 glasses, and a small candle flickering in between. The room smelled of rosemary, butter, and something bittersweet, like nostalgia trapped in the air. But tonight was not just another dinner. Tonight was the end of something that had once been beautiful. Emma looked at the clock, 7:12 p.m. Daniel was late again. She stared at his chair, empty as it always was lately, and took a deep breath. Her reflection in the window looked calm, but her eyes told a different story. They had once sparkled with love. Now they shimmered with quiet heartbreak. On the counter beside her lay a small white envelope, a hotel receipt. The name on it wasn't hers. She found it 2 days ago in Daniel's jacket pocket. At first, she thought it was a mistake, maybe a work meeting, maybe a client dinner. But when she saw the lipstick stain on his collar that same night, the truth became louder than any explanation he could ever give. "How was work?" she asked. "Busy as always," Daniel replied. He picked at his bread. "Clients from New York came in. Long meetings, you know how it is." Emma nodded, pretending to listen. Her mind replayed the hotel receipt, the Grand Palmer Suite, 2 nights, 2 guests. She took a sip of her wine and smiled faintly. "I see. Must have been exhausting." Daniel shrugged. "It's the job. You know how much I do for us." For us. That word cut deeper than any lie. Halfway through dinner, Emma stood up slowly. Daniel looked up, confused. She walked to the sideboard, picked up a small envelope, and placed it gently beside his plate. "What's this?" he asked. She looked into his eyes, calm, steady, unshaken. "Open it." Daniel opened the envelope, thinking maybe it was a bill or a letter. But when he pulled out the folded receipt, the same hotel receipt, his face froze. The silence grew heavy. Only the faint hum of the refrigerator filled the room. Daniel's lips parted. "Emma, She raised a hand. "No, don't! I don't need an explanation." Her voice didn't tremble. It was calm, heartbreak in its most powerful form. "I loved you enough to forgive mistakes, but you didn't make a mistake, Daniel. You made a choice." Daniel's throat went dry. "It's not what you think." Emma looked at him, tears finally pooling in her eyes. "Then tell me what it is. Tell me how a married man books a hotel suite for 2 nights and comes home smelling like someone else's perfume." He had no answer, and in that silence, Emma found her closure. She walked to the drawer and pulled out a thin folder. Divorce papers, signed and ready. She placed them on the table next to his glass of wine. The candlelight flickered, reflecting off the glossy paper. Daniel's hands shook. "You're really doing this?" Emma smiled sadly. "I already did. I just wanted one last dinner. Not as a couple, but as a goodbye." When dinner was over, she stood up, took her plate, and placed it in the sink. Daniel sat frozen, staring at her as if seeing her for the first time. "Emma, please, don't leave like this. We can fix it." She turned, her expression soft but final. "You broke something that doesn't glue back together, Daniel. Trust doesn't heal with words. It heals with time, and I don't have time left to waste." She walked to the door, grabbed her coat, and looked back one last time. "Thank you for the memories. Some were beautiful, some were lessons." Then she left. For days after she left, Daniel wandered the apartment like a ghost. The candle was still on the table, now melted to nothing. The smell of pasta still lingered faintly, haunting him like a memory that wouldn't fade. He replayed that night over and over, her silence, her calm, her strength. And for the first time in his life, he realized that the loudest heartbreak isn't screamed, it's whispered in silence. A month later, in a small cafe near Lake Michigan, Emma sat by the window, sipping coffee and reading a book. She wore a soft beige coat and looked peaceful. Her friend Lisa joined her. "How are you?" Emma smiled gently. "Free." Outside, snow began to fall, soft, delicate, pure. A new season was beginning, and so was her life. She no longer waited for anyone's love to complete her. She had found it in herself. Sometimes the loudest revenge is peace. Sometimes walking away speaks louder than words, louder than tears, louder than rage. Love deserves honesty, and silence, when spoken from strength, is the most powerful goodbye of all.